We are live, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone doing?
Hey guys.
Hi everyone.
Hello, Cardistry Touch. First of all, thank you guys for coming. Yeah, so a couple of people have a bunch of questions about things related to Cardistry Touch, but beyond that, people are free to ask questions about anything. It would be to you, to me, to it's actually all the people that are involved, so I'll leave it at that. Yeah, everything's fair game, and let's get started. So actually, I think one place that makes sense to start is, how did Cardistry Touch come together? How did that happen?
Okay.
You want to take this one?
Yeah, I can start with this one. So first thing first, how do we met each other with Dimitri? It's actually a pretty fun story because I was studying in Saint-Luc in Belgium, and I was practicing cardistry for a year, something like that. And I was really, really bad. And I didn't know anyone else that was doing cardistry at the time. So I just was practicing myself in my bedroom and like alone. And alone bitch. Yeah. Shut up. So I did a video with Francois, the same cameraman that filmed every touch video now, and it was his first video, so it was really bad. And I think some of you might seen him, but now it's in private. It's shame of it.
What was the name of the video?
It was Result. Okay. Anyway, I did this video, and then I saw Opera by Dimitri, and I was a huge fan of the video. I was like, wow, like so many cool moves and stuff. And at this time, I thought that Dimitri was Italian, but I added him on Facebook, and I realized that he was French because I check on his profile and I see like pictures in Paris and stuff like that. So I started to talk to him like, hey man, I saw Opera, it's so cool. So we start to chat like this, and he was like, hey man, if you do cardistry, do you have a video? And I was like, yeah, I have a video, but it sucks. It's really bad. I don't want to show you. It's like, yeah, come on, show me. So I sent him a link, and there's like 2 minutes of non-response, and then he's like, yo man, are you in this school? Like, are you in Saint-Luc, the school I was at the time? I was like, how the fuck you can know that? And he's like, yeah man, I'm in the same school. I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was alone in my country doing this, and now I'm one of my
say it.
Yeah. But my favorite artist, like in the same school. I was like, that wasn't really my passion, and I was like, what? So it was the same thing for him, because even though I sucked, he didn't thought that there were artists in Brussels. So we met, and we started talking about cards and stuff like that, and then we got drunk one time and we became best friends. so that's the story, how we met.
Cool.
Story, behind Touch, I think it started like almost 5 or 6 years ago, when we were talking about like should cardistry cards be playing cards or not. And
we had this whole debate, and we're thinking about what object should we use for cardistry? Are playing cards actually the best prop for cardistry? And so yeah, we started to brainstorm ideas on how to design a new deck. And when I say design, I mean everything, also the quality, the weight. We asked ourselves if we wanted to change the shape of the cards, stuff like that.
I remember when we were in London, we went a weekend in London like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, to see Darren Brown. And
good show, though.
At the time we were already thinking about, is cards the best thing to do cardistry, or should we change for a more solid thing? And I was like, it was like 4 years before Pocket Card, and we're like just throwing ideas like, yeah, should we use like solid stuff with even LED lights, stuff like that? And yeah.
And yeah, so we figured out that we had kind of the same idea and the same vision. But the thing is, we had a problem because we didn't know how to do that. We knew how to do a new deck design, but not how to do it from scratch, like really change things. So we kind of didn't do anything about it until Card Mundi contacted us. So we saw it as an opportunity, and we started Touch.
Okay. And so at that, when you originally thought of trying to make a deck of cards from scratch, was it at that point were you thinking about having like a company Touch, or are you just thinking about a deck of cards? Because people put out deck of cards all the time just for the sake of having a cool design.
Yeah, we were just thinking about the deck of cards at the time. We already liked to do videos and stuff, and but the idea wasn't clear at the time. We just wanted to find like the new perfect prop for cardistry, and everything else, the collaborations, the EPs, the portraits, and all the other cool stuff we have in store. That all came after. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And so, and actually, why did the other stuff come after? What was the motivation behind that?
Basically, when we decided that we wanted to make a living out of this, we figured that just making a deck of cards, designing a deck of cards, and releasing, I don't know, 2 deck of cards a year would be pretty boring, and we'll get bored. And we like doing stuff, we like doing cardistry, so we do some cardistry video. We like meeting people, so we meet people and do cardistry video with them. We like theorizing stuff, so we made a book. We like, yeah, basically. Basically, we want to put everything that we like to do in this company, and we want to produce everything that we want to have, like the deck of cards, but it can be other stuff that we won't talk about right now.
Yeah, like videos, like portrait videos.
Yeah.
We did it because we wanted to see this kind of format, and there were no format like this, so we did it. And it will be the same for every project we do with Cardistry Touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I suppose that the general approach is trying to rethink how things are currently done. Like even cardistry videos, thinking about the portraits as a really different format, but kind of rethink about that. And yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So also in terms of Cardistry Touch, where did the name Touch come from? Why Touch?
It's a long story because there were like tons of different names.
Basically we brainstormed for hours.
Yeah.
And Touch, I don't know, it was pretty cool because it was short. It has the like touch finger thing.
Yeah, it's kind of what we do.
It also had the quality. I mean, like, how do you say that? Like finishing touch,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of stuff.
So
and the brand. So the brand is Touch, but we call it the website is Cardistry Touch, and the other social media is Cardistry Touch, because Touch, the brand name Touch, was already existing. So we can use this, and we don't care that people call us Cardistry Touch, since all social media and the website is there. But the brand is actually Touch.
Yeah. Okay.
On the logo.
So I've had experiences where I was trying to come up with names for projects and stuff, and it was sometimes a really painful experience where just nothing stuck. And so my question is, what was the worst name that you came up with? The one that you thought of and was just absolutely horrendous?
You remember
I don't know. It's like 2 years ago, man. Yeah, the first code name was Project Utopia.
Utopia. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Utopia project. But it's like a code name like you have with I don't know, PlayStation and stuff like that.
Yeah, the idea was just
to have a name for this project, which wasn't clear at the time. We knew that there were decks somewhere and videos, but the Cardistry Touch came when we had to create the brand and the company to have a name like for
for the paperwork and stuff,
and to have a logo and a visual identity.
Okay. Yeah. So the other component to Cardistry Touch in some way is Card Mundi, and so you mentioned that they originally contacted you. Do you know what was their motivation for that, or how that panned out? Why that happens?
Okay. So yeah, I can explain that. Actually, it's we're blessed because Tom Kestens, which was the conversation manager of Card Mundi, saw one of my video that was stationary, and they didn't really know about Cardistry at the time, and they saw this video, so they add me on Facebook. Tom Kestens add me on Facebook, and he threw me a message like, "Hey man, I just see your video. It's amazing. Blah blah. We are Card Mundi, one of the biggest playing card company, and we just want to meet you and talk about projects." Like really blurry, but they want to contact me. So I answer this message, and like 20 minutes after, we were on Skype, and I was like, "Yeah, man, you should come. We have a factory in Belgium, and we know you live in Belgium, so
we know where you live.
We're gonna you can come visit the factory, and you'll have a private tour, and we can discuss projects." So they invited me to visit the factory, and then they let me test some sample of cards that they had, and there were not really one very good deck. There were like decent decks and stuff like that, and they were searching for which deck I would love for the quality and stuff like that. And then they asked me if I wanted to have a deck with my name, like a Ladislas Toubart deck, so they can release it and stuff like that. And I answered them that I wasn't interested about this project. I don't want to have a Ladislas Toubart deck, but that I have this project of Cardistry cards with Dimitri. I want the Ladislas Toubart deck. Yeah. So at the time, I didn't want to disclose what was Cardistry cards because I didn't know Card Mundi well and stuff like that. And so after I visit the factory, I talked to Dimitri and I say, "Wow, man, Card Mundi is huge and they want to have a project with me. I think we should propose our project of Cardistry cards and see if they're interested and stuff like that." So we talked about it and we're like, "Yeah, just say what the project is, because if we're not doing this with them, we're not going to do it at all. So just try." And I told them though, so I don't want to do playing cards. I want to try this, and they say, "Okay, we'll do it." And that's
But yeah, we didn't really know at the time that it was going to take 2 years of research and development. But yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah, and actually, do you want to go a bit into like why it took that much time, or kind of the process of coming up with the cards that you wanted and what you felt like was a finished product, and kind of every step in the middle where you tried something and it didn't work and tried moving on and seeing how that happened?
So the first step was trying to define what we wanted, because we were in front of a bunch of scientists basically, and we were telling them, okay, this one is not good enough for springs. And so they had no idea what we were talking about. So we started like testing like a lot of different prototypes that they had and others that we liked. Like I remember we bring in the vintage blade because we liked the quality of the vintage blade. stuff like that. And so basically it was really funny. We were making some tests and there was a bunch of scientists writing stuff down. And yeah, just to try to narrow down what we wanted. Specifics. First one was the paper. We tried a lot of paper. Very different ones, and that was actually the easiest step because it was the first step. Because after that, everything was how to say?
Depends on the paper, basically, right?
Yeah, but everything depends on each other. So if we changed something, it had an impact on something.
Oh, I see.
That was especially true for the varnish and the cutting. It had, and even the way it's printed, like if you print it with offset, which is ink, actual ink, it kind of merged a little bit with the varnish. So yeah, everything influenced the other. So it was really long, and things take time. Like for example, for the varnish, first you have to produce it, and I don't know the actual method or chemicals to do it, but you have to actually produce it, and then you have to print cards with the right method. With what we thought was the right method at the time. Then we test it. Then we have to discover why it's not working. Then we have to make other tests, and this can take, I don't know, months for just one test, and we made a lot of them.
Right, yeah. Right, because at every step you have to print out the cards and try them and then go back and do some tests and do that over and over again. How many prototypes did you go through again?
Well, in the video we said 148.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
I think it's 149 actually.
We don't that number, to be honest, but it's a lot. It's it's 2 years, so it's
right.
A lot.
Though I imagine being in Belgium and close to the factory make that a bit easier, so you don't have to ship it around and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. So sometimes we went there to test out some decks, and sometimes they sent us samples, and we had like a grid and like the judging, and it was funny because we were trying not to influence each other when we were judging. So we did some blind tests, like actual blind tests with the blindfold and stuff like that. Test it out, and it turns out it was always very, very similar. So that means.
So maybe there is some science to it.
Yeah, what we did is like also compared to the competitor's deck. Let's say we receive 2 prototypes and we do some blindfolded tests. We always incorporate 1 or 2 different decks from USPC or expert playing cards and try to judge each one of them without knowing which one is which. Which one is which. So yeah, and we had like grid, like I can there was like faro, fanning, gliding, thickness, stiffness, durability of the varnish. So we had to tested like the first test, like because some of the prototypes were pretty good right out the box, and then you use it like few hours and it drops like poof. So it was really frustrating sometimes because we thought we had the very unique deck, and it turned shit like very fast. So this was a thing to consider in our testing.
Right. And so on Card Mundi's side, so I guess their interest in doing this was that they had effectively 2 card experts that played with cards all the time, so they could get an actual idea of what good cards should feel like. So yeah, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, good cards doesn't really mean anything. I mean, they are good. for poker. There are good cards for playing games, and they excel in a lot of those already, like poker, and they do Magic the Gathering. They're cards actually. Yeah, Pokemon cards, Monopoly cards, and they really do a lot of different cards. But for Cardistry, they really had nothing that came close to what we wanted. So they they decided to up their game, and yeah, so for them it was finding a better quality. It was also how do you say,
Catch a new audience.
yeah, opening themselves to a new market, to a new type of market, like
Right.
Magic. They did some cards for magicians already, but not that much. And I think now it's going to be a pretty big thing for them. I think people are going to like those, and for them.
Not that they're biased or anything.
And also, well, I cannot talk for Card Mundi, but Cardistry is pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty cool way to advertise cards in general. So I think it's also good for the image to show Cardistry.
Cool. Yeah, and how was it talking with them and interacting with them in general? Because it's kind of an interesting dynamic where they're like a large company that have monopolies in a whole lot of different areas, and you're just two dudes that have a dream.
It's crazy. They're like huge. They're huge company. They're in 15 countries. 18 countries.
18
okay,
countries.
they're really huge, and we're two random guys and just shuffling cards that do something that no one knows about, and we're talking directly to them, and yeah, they're on a very human level with us, so that was great. We like Ladislas said, they're the one who contacted us at first, so that I think that says a lot about them. And yeah, the fact that they were willing to invest so much time and money actually in the project.
I bet
2 years research and development is a lot of money, I think. So yeah, I think that says a lot about them as a company. I think they're great, and yeah, we've been first in contact with Tom. That some of you, and did you met him at Cardistry-Con New York?
Oh yes, I did. Yeah, in New York. Yeah. Was he in Berlin as well, or is that someone else?
No, it was someone else.
Okay, all right. No, in that case, I don't think I did.
Okay, so he was there in New York, and he's the one who contacted Ladislas. And yeah, after it was years was here at Cardistry-Con Berlin, and yeah, it was great, and it was really human, and we're actually still in contact with them for a bunch of stuff, and it's working great.
Yeah,
we don't feel like we're talking to this huge company. We feel like we're talking to people.
Yeah,
and that makes a huge difference.
And what is really important to say is that we're a new company, and we were working in different fields, so we didn't have really money to invest, and all the research and development were they take it on their side. So everything, like every varnish, every paper, every printing, what their cost, were their cost, and it's really like it's really a miracle that we had the chance to have this, really, because we're talking about huge amounts without even know if the project will end up good, and or it will be successful. Even though we had good cards, we could not sell cards at all, maybe.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And
yeah, to be honest, this would not have been possible with any of Card Mundi's competitors.
Just throwing that out there, yeah.
And we're not talking this because we're collaborating with them. We're not sponsored by them. We are a company, and they are a company. There is nothing in the contract that said that we have to say this about Card Mundi, or that we are we are independent. We don't. they don't have part in our company, and we don't it's just a collaboration. And
but yeah, we wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, they're great.
So you're telling me there isn't like a Card Mundi representative behind the camera that's just giving you cue cards I think to read?
Yeah, and also they let us film in their factory for the
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and yeah, that was awesome. There was years behind the camera actually throwing a bunch of cards at us.
Okay, I think you have a good story about this shooting.
Oh yeah, shit. So you know how there's a knife involved? Well, we went to Card Mundi's factory to shoot the video, and the very first take that we had to film was me just putting the knife into the palette. So that's what we start filming, and the
very first take.
The very first take, I don't do it hard enough, so the knife kind of falls. I have this dumb reflex to try to catch the knife. I cut my finger.
Really bad.
Like, I really cut my finger really bad.
If you see in the final video, he has a condom on his finger. That's why.
Yeah. So I went to the infirmary at Card Mundi. And we lost an hour of shoot maybe,
right,
but we kept on shooting because we
had to do it. Yeah, we had only one day.
And yeah, if you look closely to the video, there's something on my finger during the whole.
So I cut my thumb 2 months ago, and he cut his finger during the shooting.
Yeah.
It's like you're really in sync, you know. So you're telling me that somewhere out there is a couple deck of cards that are signed by blood by Dimitri? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's very true.
Yeah.
Those will go
There's
for
maybe one with a little bit of flesh.
You think it's red ink, but it's Dimitri's blood.
All right, and so something else that is particular about the Cardistry Touch deck and Origin and all that stuff is the swivel box. And people are curious about what the history is behind the swivel box. How did it come to life? And what?
Oh, I can do it. Okay, so for the box, we really didn't have any idea at first of the swivel box, but we knew for sure that we wanted to do something really cool and something different. So we had a meeting with
I'll just be here doing that.
With the packaging director of Card Mundi, and just to throw ideas like, we want something different. What do you have already? Can we change something of a box that you have or something like that? And he took notes and was like really calm and just throwing ideas and stuff like that. And he contacted us 2 weeks after, I think. And he came up with the mechanism of the automatic pop-up thing. And we were like, yeah, man, that's the
done.
Version actually of this.
Yeah. So that was the first prototype. And then we refined it. Like we had, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 different versions of this box. First, there were no flap here. It was a bit different. And we were talking about like a blank box at the time. No design at all. Just the mechanism and size and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Yeah. And so looking towards the future, I think one of the obvious questions is, do you plan on making other cards in the future, and are they just going to be rehashes with the same design, different colors, which is kind of a trend?
The lab you fucking ass. There will be more cards for sure, but not variation of the same design.
Well, maybe we will at some point.
Yeah, but it won't be recurrent. Like we won't have just variation of the colors and say origin 1, origin 2.
Right.
I don't know. The next deck could be
completely different, probably. It will be a Cardistry deck, so that means no faces. Well, no
Yeah, we won't
traditional faces.
We won't do playing cards.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
We only will stick with the Cardistry cards.
Yeah.
But the video will change.
The main reason for that is the main reason for everything actually is that we don't want to get bored. So we think it's a lot more fun to design a new deck and to work on something pretty different. So so yeah, the next one will have nothing to do with the origin, but it will have cardistry features. That means it will be cool when you do fans. Like we have this thing that is pretty cool with the connection and the buttons. And it will be designed for cardistry every time. But yeah, it will be different.
I can only say that it will be called pineapple.
All right.
It's
all right.
For those maybe
for the guys a bit slow.
Cool. And also one of the little things that people have been talking about is that so you printed a bunch of cards for Cardistry-Con and gave them out for back in Berlin. And are the cards going to be exactly the same? Because the Cardistry-Con edition says just that somewhere on the box somewhere. That is a Cardistry-Con edition. Is there like any difference between that and the cards that are actually shipping out? Yeah.
So after Cardistry-Con, we had some feedbacks. So we kept on researching and so yeah, we had some feedbacks on the design of the box actually, and a little bit on the cards. So we kept researching, and it's gonna be the quality. I mean, the quality of the cards will be to the Cardistry-Con edition. Will be a little bit different. It will be a bit easier to ferro because that was one of the problems that we had. So that's taken care of, and the box we adjust the design, so so it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, the main difference on the box is that in the Cardistry-Con edition there were 55 cards, so it's a little more thick. And in this one, there are 51 cards and 2 add cards, so 53 cards. It's,
okay.
Yeah. A little bit thinner.
The texture and the design. Yeah, this thing is gonna be. I don't know if you can. Yeah. So there's white here, so we're gonna fill this with the design.
You can see it on the website actually. The final design of the box is on the website.
Okay, yeah, so just minor tweaks, nothing major.
No.
Okay, yeah, people were wondering if the ones that are shipping out the ones that are in pre-order now also have the swivel box and yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Every deck that we produce will have a cool box.
Ooh, all right. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
All right, and yes, I thought I was looking at a question, but actually it wasn't.
How many are we on the stream? Do you
there seem to be 27 people watching right now. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Yeah, a bunch of people have been saying hi in the chat, so we can say hi again. So. Oh, are those the
Squids.
Squids? Yes, because those are also a thing that exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are those just? I mean, I want to say "quote unquote" normal squids with just a Cardistry Touch card inside, or is there more to it than that?
5 squids, so the latest ones with our design.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, there is a card inside.
Right, that makes sense.
And it's perfectly aligned with with the borders. So
yeah, I noticed that. I was,
it's
which
exactly the same format size as a playing card.
Yeah, I was actually impressed by that it wasn't like remotely floating on the side or anything. Chase,
I'm
Chase
not
is killing
sure
it.
exactly how he does it, but the new V5 method that he uses really great. It's precise.
Cool.
Way cleaner than the previous one.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's something that people have been saying a lot. Also something that's on people's minds, along with just everything, the My Shuffles app that was teased during Cardistry-Con.
Dev is here.
Nah.
He's here with a beer, so that's
why.
That's what happened.
There you go.
What's been happening? So yeah, this is Quentin. It's the guy developing the app, and this
Say hi to
is
Quentin.
it's working pretty good actually.
It looks very white from here, but
Can't see it. Oh.
it's yeah. People know what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. We have been working on it, and we can say that it's it's releasing this month.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Many of you may have noticed, but we're releasing a lot of stuff lately, and it's just the beginning. So yeah. It'll be
All right. Cool.
on Android and iOS. So
At
the same time, yeah.
Hopefully.
Cool.
Yeah, except if Apple just say nope.
There's no reason.
For no reason.
Mhm.
Fuck yourself for no reason.
Yeah. I assume. Yeah. Cool. All right. So a lot of people in chat are pretty happy about that. So no surprise there, but you know. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where right now I have like a really horrible process where I shoot something on my phone and I favorite it on my phone, and so it goes into a folder, and then I can't order it or really do anything with it.
I
So
also have the same problem.
Yeah.
That's why we did it.
Yeah, like we said, when we want a product and doesn't exist, we'll make it.
Let's go on Mars. Let's do it. Just do it later.
Yeah, and I hope that it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a great thing for Cardistry. I mean, it's like straight to the point, pretty easy to use, and like we said at Cardistry-Con, it's gonna be completely free. So I think every single cardist should use it.
Yeah, and actually, I'm kind of curious. What was your design process behind making the app? Because there were a couple attempts. People have done things that are slightly similar. There was 10 moves by David Pedersen, I think. And so, yeah, how did you first of all come up with the idea, and also kind of build it to be what you want it to be?
Okay.
And what kind of trade-offs were involved?
Yeah, it started. As we said, because we had a shitty process of recording moves. So what I had, my process was I had an Excel file with different categories. So I would write the name of a move in the right category. So if I have two-handed cut, I put it there, and so I'd move, and then I filmed with my webcam a move, and I named it the same way that I named it on the Excel file, and that's pretty much the core of my shuffle. It's recording videos and put it into a specific category. And we realized also that when we were working on a video, we kind of make a new category, which was it's called now Focus on my shuffle, and it's basically the move that you want to work on. So so yeah, we put it aside the move that we wanted in the video, so that we would really focus on those. And yeah, that was the first feature of my shuffle, which was the categories and focus. So yeah, we kind of agreed that this is what we wanted, and we already I don't know if you know that, but we made a little game a while ago called Tap Tap Tap. Yeah. It was, yeah, it's a little game. It's still available on the App Store, and we made it with Brendan. It was
the first project we did together.
Yeah, it was his first app, I think. Was it? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the second one. Second, okay. And the first project that we did together. And so when we were trying to come up with the right way to do the organizing thing, we thought, yeah, let's do an app. Everybody's doing apps. Apps works.
Yeah, and it's useful. It's easy. And
yeah, it's easy.
Everybody has a smartphone now, except me. But.
Yeah, so we asked Quentin if he wanted to do this with us, and he said yes. He had no idea at the time that it was going to be that long.
That's Card Mundi in our story. He designed the app and he said, like, you just program it.
Yeah. Yeah, so then we made some mock-ups and designs for the app. Pretty much Quentin doing everything. And it's working fine now. So yeah, we're pretty happy about it.
Cool. Yeah. And I don't know, is that kind of the only software ideas that you've had thought about, or is there, I don't know, any other general ideas? I guess this is kind of like the most straightforward thing in terms of what Cardist needs. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
There's another app that we're working on, which is actually Touch, the app. So it will be like a mirror from the website, and among with other assets and utilities. But yeah, it will be basically a hub for Touch for all the content we put out. So you will be able to have all the EPs in one place,
right?
In the app, you will be notified for each video, every post on Instagram and stuff like that. We could also do live streams directly on it, and features that
can't talk about now.
Yeah, we can't talk about it, but it will be cool. So
cool. Yeah, so kind of something similar to the Dan and Dave app, which, or perhaps more to it than that with the secret features.
Yeah, Dan Dave, like, I know that your project with Dan Dave is like one app.
Yeah, they do standalone apps.
Yeah, we want everything to be built into one Touch app.
Okay, cool. All right, and also in the topic of Cardistry Touch related things, there's so do you guys have plans for any merchandise, things like t-shirts and hats and snapbacks and whatever kids do these days with things?
No, we don't have a merch, but we
choose your word carefully.
We might go in the clothing game.
Okay. So the idea is on the table.
Yeah.
We know that much. Okay, cool.
But not merch with like big Touch logos and stuff like that. No.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I can say more. Sorry.
It gives people something to think about. Because now that they know that my shuffle's in out, they need to worry about something else. So there we go.
Every single Instagram post and every single video that we released since Cardistry-Con Berlin, we had the "Where's my shuffle?" comment.
Yes.
They need a new comment.
Yeah. No. They exactly. You always need something to complain about. Otherwise, you know, what's the point in doing anything?
What's the point if you cannot complain?
Cool. So to go in a completely different direction, and actually kind of goes back actually to what we were talking about before. Someone's asking, what is it about cards in particular that's so interesting? What is it about them? You said you had talked about and kind of questioned even the idea of using cards for cardistry, but in the end, Cardistry Touch is still using cards. So what came into that decision? What was the thought for that?
Yeah, basically, I think it's the simplest object that offers, and so many possibilities. Like I've been using squids lately because we just received them and they're hella fun. But I still think that playing cards offers more versatility and how do you say? Also there's the number that is really important. Like there's no other juggling form where you juggle with 51 objects. I mean, 51 object is huge. It's a huge number, and I don't know, like 3-ball juggling. There's 3 objects, and there's already like so much possibilities. I mean, it's been evolving for centuries. More, like thousands of years, and people are still coming up today with new ways to juggle 3 balls. And we have 51 objects.
51 objects, yeah.
It's just to think about this is I don't know. I feel small just thinking about a deck of cards.
Yeah.
And now with Cardistry, you can transform this one object into infinite possibilities. So it's endless. Because you have a ball in juggling. You can throw it. You can, I don't know. You can move it around your body and stuff like that. But with cards, you can bend them.
Actually, it's a thing now in juggling too. Like to distort object. Like you've seen the juggling prop with the kind of the 2 circles linked.
No, I haven't.
Well, yeah, it's like flat thing with 2 circles, and I've seen a video of a guy that is pretty much doing cardistry with this, twisting it and finding like mechanical stuff to do with the. Like so I asked my brother who's a juggler. I showed him the videos, saying, "Oh, that's cool. That's like cardistry, but not with cards." And and he said, "Yeah, it's a thing now in juggling too. Like just destroying and trying to work on the object itself." Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, playing cards. I mean,
Cardistry cards.
Cardistry card. Yeah, sorry. Cardistry card is just. I don't know what, because it's so simple and at the same time it's so infinite.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting components to it is that because you have 51 cards, you can treat it as 51 cards, and that's cool. And you can do a whole bunch of stuff like springs, which effectively use all 51 cards. But you can also, it's kind of a continuous object in a way, because you can do things like put them into packets, right, and do things like this.
Wow. Where can I learn this?
Wow. Glad you asked. Head on over to cardistrytouch.com and pick up MTH. But no, I mean, the point is that you have 51 objects, but don't have to treat it as 51 objects. You can treat it as any number less than that. Which is, also not something that a lot of objects have. And you're not even destroying them when you're doing things like a spring, right? You're still kind of...
exactly.
But it's still the same object. So there is something kind of magical about cards. And I mean, there's all these things, but I feel like there's more to it than that. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, the object playing cards is also because we have 51 of them, but it fits in your hand and it fits in your pockets, so you can take them anywhere. And again, you cannot do that with a lot of juggling toys. Just put it in your pocket and just leave your house. that's pretty specific to cards and other stuff like, I don't know, pen spinning and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, and it kind of makes it a perfect hobby in that sense, so that you can do it anytime, anywhere. Yeah, and I think, I mean, the thing that probably appeals to us in particular, and by us I mean people who like to innovate and do new things with cards, is that there is such a dimension of things you can do, and just as you said, there's just a lot there.
Yeah, definitely. If you don't like throwing cards in the air, you can always cut packets. If you don't like cutting packets, you can always fan them. I think there's stuff for everyone.
Yeah, and this, as we said earlier, we like to do different things because we don't want to do the same thing over again because we get bored really fast. And with Cardistry, it's perfect because
you don't get bored.
You don't want to do cuts, you do fans. You don't want to do fans, you do isolations. I don't know. You can always reinvent yourself and find new ideas, and so
Cards are cool.
And if you don't like any of fanning or isolations, you could probably come up with something else that no one has ever thought about before. And I don't know what it looks like, but it's probably pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So the questions seem to be dying down in the chat. I think now that people know that the app is coming out, they're finally relaxed. So again, so again, to people in the chat, if you have a question, please preface it with the word question in front of it. Just makes it easier for me to look at them. But I actually had a couple of things I wanted to ask you. One of which is, let's see. Let's talk about the Cardistry-Con Championship, CCC. So there was a bit of a hiccup in terms of timing stuff, but no biggie. But I don't know. I actually hadn't seen the entries that actually came through. Again, I'd seen them, while they're going through my feed and stuff. But I actually just watched them all back to back on the Cardistry-Con website. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was really blown away. It made me think, damn it, people are getting better than me. I think the great thing about these entries is there's a really large variety of things. There's a large variety of even just personalities that are involved. There's things that are a bit more flamboyant.
It's very hard to show personality in 15 seconds. So yeah, congrats to the guys who made it. There was a lot of entries actually. There was like 150 or something like that.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Wait, more?
No.
Less? No.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
I only watch one of them. I'm just.
No, there was a lot of entries and some very good entries. There was more than 10 very good entries, so it was hard to judge at the end.
Yeah, that's when it gets difficult.
There were good surprises. I mean, one of my favorite video, I didn't even heard about this guy before.
Yeah, that also surprised me. I didn't recognize a lot of the names I saw there. Some of the names I did recognize. I was glad to see them there. But I think this is gonna be an insane couple of months just because of that. I don't know. I forget. Were both of you doing the judging or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm curious actually. What kind of things were you thinking about when looking at the entries?
Well, the first, like, we watched everything once and trying to see if it could potentially be a Cardistry-Con winner. So the first part was just nope, yep, nope. And it's pretty easy. I mean, when you see in 15 seconds, it's pretty easy to separate the yes and the no's.
Yeah.
So this was the first part, and was pretty long to do because there was a lot of entries, but it was the easy part. Then we had to like really choose the last ones, and I'm not sure if I had specific criterias. I mean,
no, me too.
Because some people had like great moves, other had great style, though some others, like really impressive stuff. In the end, I think it comes down to personal preference. I don't know. There's
it's really subjective, like
criteria,
like
thing is
skills, style, or
it's not like we're checking boxes. But, the thing is, it's subjective, but pretty much all the judges had the exact same votes. So in the end, I think it was pretty clear.
Like, that's interesting. Yeah.
The top 15, we pretty much agreed on like all of the judges at one point. It was really easy to agree on the top 15. Then it was a bit harder to choose the final 10.
Yeah, I imagine. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see their full-on videos because I haven't seen a lot of these people.
15 seconds is not a lot. I mean, most of the entries had like between like 3 to 5 moves,
right?
Which is it's not a lot. So you can really save. And I don't know. I've never been in this type of competition, but you both. It's really hard to just say the right amount of move for the next round.
That's the most complicated.
Yeah, that's always the
come up with a new move for each round.
Which is also strategy, as we showed last year.
Yeah, strategy being a badass.
Yeah, strategy to win Cardistry-Con Championship, just be really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, and actually, that leads smoothly into the next thing I wanted to talk about personally. So, we all have our own little pet peeves when looking at someone's flourish or even their videos. Like, there's my personal pet peeve is when someone does like a flourish and they'll finish it with like a card and do one thing like that. That's a thing I just can't stand for some logical reason, but it's also just really just on a personal level, it bugs me. So I don't know. Is there things like that? Like when you see it, you're like, no, I can't do it.
Let me think.
Probably. Wait, not really.
I don't know. I hate in general when people just post their move like right after coming up with that. It's not really a pet peeve, but you can really see it when they just came up with the move and they want to post it on Instagram without working on it. Like usually, I'm like, dude, you should have worked on it for like I don't know, like a day at least before you post it, because right now it doesn't look any good, and it could look really cool. So yeah, there's that. What else? Like more specific, let's see. Yeah, it's weird. Go ahead.
I don't really like all the cuts that hands like this. I think it's.
I hate the Charlie.
I don't know, but I don't know. There's a trend now. Everybody finish like this and they just drop it. I don't. It's not a good closer.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that.
Yeah, but not for all the moves. I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Every single move.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's on one hand, part of it is that it's really easy to get into that thing, right? There's a lot of ways to get into that, and it almost feels like another mechanics grip. Because and so it's really easy to get into that, and also some people have described it as kind of like a mic drop. You're like you do your flourish, and it's like bam. But yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, if you want a mic drop, it has to be a very cool flourish.
Oh yeah.
Mic drop after doing something shitty.
After doing a simple variation.
Yeah. I blame Tobias for this, because I think he's the one who started this trend. And
yeah, definitely.
I mean, Tobias
he has a lot of mics to drop.
Yeah.
Oliver too.
Yeah, I mean, those guys they definitely can do it, but if you want a mic drop, you have to have a pretty good reason. Yeah,
you need to have an expensive mic to drop it properly. Otherwise, what's the point? You're not gonna drop a $2 mic. I don't know why I'm pushing that so hard. Yeah, and I think also part of it for me is just as soon as a lot of people start doing the same thing, it gets really tired at some point, which I think part of the reason I really dislike the whole like doing a bunch of stuff with Raccoon and things like that after a flourish, just because there was a while where just everyone did it all the time, and I just I've seen this 10,000 times, and yeah.
Oh, I do have something. Something actually I share with Antoine Ryoma. It says single cards and structures, like not only one-handed structures, but I think this, for example, someone doing like a triangle with like this. You see the 2 packets and the single card, and you see the single card is trying to bend, doesn't want to be there. And I really don't want that single card to be there either. I think it's pretty horrible. Single cards has to be justified actually in cuts, in two-handed cuts, or in structures with single cards, but they have to be single card moves. I don't know if.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Like the word works.
It has to make sense to use single cards, because if you're just using it as a packet, but it's just a single card, it's weird.
Ugly.
Yeah. This is something that Chase Duncan was also talking about, and he was talking more specifically in cuts. Having single cards in cuts is something that bothers him on a somewhat rational but also irrational level. And I think the thing for him is that it's, I guess actually, no, come to think of it, there's that same dimension of, when you have a packet cut, you kind of want all the packets to be the same size, because the size kind of dictates the presence of a packet, and a really small card just has less presence.
Really important for the balance of the cut.
Yeah. The way Chase put it is that if you have a single card in your cut, it kind of makes everything, the entire flourish about that card. And so you can do that, use that to your advantage. But you have to be careful, and you have to be able to justify it.
And talking about chase and single cards, Squids are really interesting for this, because they have the properties of packets, also some properties of a packet, and also some properties of single cards. So you can do like really interesting stuff, like you would use single cards to use this, and now you're actually doing this with packets.
Yeah.
So, it gets. You can have this looks totally different with squids than with cards, because I use single cards when I use actual cards, and it looks like it's only packets when I use squids. So that's something I discovered, because it's pretty much the first time that I tried squids like this week. I tried a few. I think I tried yours at meetups.
Because you like squids.
Yeah, you use squids too, right?
Yeah, I use squids on a pretty daily basis, and I use them because of like very specific reasons.
You wouldn't have come up with a highway without squids, I think.
I would say, it would have taken a lot more time. I think one of the qualities that squids have is that it enables you to kind of speed through some of the muscle memory acquiring process, because you don't need to worry about keeping packets together. Another thing I noticed, and that I realized when I was coming up with highway, was because you don't have to care about packets keeping together, one thing you can do is just relax your grip as much as possible until you're barely even holding the packets. And practice doing a move like that, and that helps you get smoother. But yeah, and I think, the thing with squids is that it's easy to think about them as replacing cards somehow, because they can do the same thing but not exactly. And I don't know, I like to think about them as kind of being complementary cards in kind of the creative process. There's some benefits to just restricting yourself to having these packets, but on the other hand, there's something to be said about, well, if you're trying to create an entire cut from with squids, I don't actually have mine nearby, but you can't split a squid in half, right? So it's you can't split a squid in half. So that kind of restricts what kind of forces you can come up with, which is both a good and a bad thing. And so that's why I like to go back and forth between cards and squids.
Yeah, having limitation can also push your creativity anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you need both.
Constraints.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like I said, I just started using squids. I think they're hell fun. And the main reason why I'm gonna keep using those is like
free.
because they're free. Yeah, those are free, not for you.
What a devil.
Yeah, no, but I can just put them in my pocket and just because I actually never take a pack of cards when I go outside. I don't know. I think it's I don't know why actually, but I don't really like it. But now that I have squids, I just take them in my pocket pretty much everywhere. And it's cool because you can just drop it and I have like 51 cards to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you drop them, you can always wash them eventually, which is not something you can do with cards at all,
Yeah.
or at least you shouldn't do. Which is one of the things I like, is that I can use them in public, and even if it's raining outside, I don't care because they're resin. So
yeah, definitely. Squids are great.
point is, when you buy a Cardistry Touch deck, you should also buy some squids.
Oh really?
Buy them right now. Click in the link below or something.
Sorry guys, I had to take vodka.
Yeah, I have also a big old.
One of the most American objects I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, this is. It's bigger than my head.
It's so American.
Wow.
It's called a chug jug, so you know.
I think I've seen those a lot in theme parks in America.
Yeah.
Like
They're
getting more fat with this.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, of course you're supposed to fill them up with soda or slushies and horrible things like that. They're actually like a really good thing to have around though, because it holds a lot of liquid, as you can tell. But it's also, I mean, it has a straw and stuff like that. You can throw it around. I'd recommend it. I don't know why I'm doing this, but you know. Anyways, now that we've had our chug jug interlude,
And this is a great type of milk called Dilea. It's 0 lactose. You can buy them on their website.
Yeah, I get the Cardistry Touch edition. Anyways, yeah. So other questions. Let's get with some simpler questions. So you've done a couple of portraits of a couple people, including myself. And do you plan on making portraits with yourselves in them?
Yes.
Yeah, that's on the table. All right, cool.
Yeah.
There's been a couple people asking.
Yeah, we can say that. Like one actually is already filmed. It's been filmed for a while now. We might need to refilm it actually because it's getting old.
Yeah, since a year. It was filmed at the same time as Antoine's. First one. And the editing is almost done too.
But yeah, we're gonna have to refilm some stuff because some stuff that
Get
I said
this updated.
Yeah. Because we moved, so it's weird if my whole portrait is in Paris and I'm Brussels. But saying that to you,
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, that is pretty weird, huh?
The other one, and the other one is waiting to have his 8 packs to release it.
you be naked in this portrait.
Cool. So that's out of the way. Yeah, some people. So there's one question which I think is interesting. So usually on these streams we like to talk about creative process. In this case, I think it's a bit less relevant because there's already a book about that thing.
Yeah.
Is it still available for sale? Actually, I'm curious.
No, it's sold out actually.
Nope, it's sold out. Well, hey, just think, you could have bought it. I don't know. Too bad.
You're gonna end up draining shit for the rest of your life.
But one of the sub questions was, do you remember your first move, the first thing you created?
Whoa.
I know it's kind of asking for far back in the future, but
I do.
No, je sais plus.
I think it was something. Fuck, it's hard. I can kind of see how it looks in my head, but do it. Is it? No. Wait. I can try.
All right, I can buy you some time by showing the first thing I created, or at least that I remember creating. It goes something like this.
It's not bad for the first move. Like, there's already like 3 different ideas. Like, it should be like different moves, and
there's a lot of stuff at the same time. The thing with this move is it's basically just like, okay, well, so I'm going to start with the Z grip because that's what people do. Then we split this off and split this off. Cool. Well, this is like a scissor cut, so I'll just do that. I don't know. I could extend that, I guess. Sure, why not? And then, I mean, nothing is particularly crazy at any step. The only thing that's remotely interesting, also, there's this display, which just makes no sense.
A real display. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just of cards in my hands. The only thing that's remotely interesting is I have this thing where I put the card in here, and then I do the same motion twice, and it does something different each time. It's kind of cool, but then I just do a deck flip because, well, got to close somehow.
A funny thing is, it's not my first flourish, but maybe second or third was Moulin Rouge, actually.
Oh.
Didn't really look like this because it didn't have, at the time, the thumb twist. So it was just this. So I was doing this display and then closing it. And I was doing this for a while, and after a few months, I decided to add this thing here, and that became the whole concept of the move.
Right.
And it's the only thing I kept for the second and the third version.
Right.
So it's weird because it was part of the creation process after I already had the move, and it's the only thing that I kept. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's not too crazy. I've noticed more and more the things that I do is that I'll have like an idea and push it to a certain point, and then something interesting that happens here, I'm like, oh, this is cool. It doesn't make any sense with the rest of this, so I'm just gonna take this and run with it and try to create a cut out of that. And then actually the beginning, I just trash it and forget it forever. Or not, or sometimes I try to do different things. Actually, that's the story behind Cartesian. It used to be 2 flourishes, and let me see. Yeah, I might as well show it. So this is a thing that I put it on Instagram, so why not? So I have this flourish. And I forget exactly how, but at some point in the middle, I ended up with this situation, and then I went into what's now Cartesian. And I really like this as a closer, but it really didn't make any sense with the rest of the cut because, it looks like something like this, right? And so there's like this part, which is cool, but it just didn't make any sense. And eventually I found a cool closer for this, so, it worked out. But it's like I had 2 really good half cuts, and instead of just saying, oh, that's a full cut, I'll just split into 2 cuts and just have 2 cuts. Which is something I'm starting to suggest to people, and that I suggest to everyone actually doing if they find that they have some cool ideas, and they have some cool ideas in their cuts, but maybe they feel like it should be different cuts, and that's completely okay to like cut them off.
Yeah, I think 1 idea per cut is more than enough. Most of us don't have any ideas, so if you have 2 in a cut, it's more to do.
Do we have example of cuts that like more than 1 idea? That's really good.
Like actual good ideas?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Like the best cut of 2016 was flip phone, and there's one idea.
yeah, it's one clear, simple, bam, idea.
Yeah, it's all about the closer.
Yeah, it's one closer. It's just a closer.
Yeah, it's just a closer. Yeah.
Yeah, the opener is cool, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the opener is part of the closer.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, Cartesian is also basically just a closer, right? Like I start here, but I'm still like, I'm pretty much closing it the entire time. There's no real opener. And I tried finding some interesting stuff, but nothing really stuck. And anything that I came up with was just kind of getting in the way of the rest of the cut. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any good move with more than one good idea in it.
Well, yeah, actually, I think I've heard about some of your. So last stream I did, I think, was with Noel Heath, and he has this Sybil variation, and calling it a variation is kind of weird.
Oh yeah,
it's just a Sybil thing, and it's just like a sequence of a bunch of different ideas, which are all cool, and they're all put in one thing.
I've talked about this with Noel, and it's funny because this cut is exactly what you should not do. It's like 100% a bad example.
Yeah.
If you do a cut like this, it will suck somehow. But for I don't know what reason, it works with Noel, because the idea, I think it's a bit conceptual, but I think the idea is that it makes no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, somehow it works, and it works pretty good. Works pretty good with Noel's style also.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not very rounded. It's not something that I would recommend when you create a move.
Yep.
But yeah, actually there is an idea, and the idea is that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool, really, to have such a conceptual idea being represented in a flourish.
Yeah.
This kind of leads into
a flourish, the story behind the flourish, or the flourish as a story.
I mean, yeah, stories for flourishes. Someone said that somewhere.
Can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that we like to talk about in terms of cardistry is that it's a bit more than a hobby, and maybe even try to consider it as a art form. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Because I personally kind of go back and forth, because it feels kind of pretentious to call it an art form, but at the same time, like every time, like we talk about things like the idea of a flourish is that it doesn't make any sense. That's like a really conceptual thing for such a hobby, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it can be one and the other. I mean, you can have painting as a hobby, and it can be art too. I think it's definitely both. Well, for me now, it's a hobby, an art form, and a job. So it can be three different things.
We don't practice cardistry anymore. We train cardistry.
We train. Yeah, but
we have a champion. And it's a sport. You don't have a champion of painting.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a bit weird to have a champion of cardistry. But it's not really a champion of cardistry. It's not
the
like
champion of this particular contest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So somewhere between a hobby, an art form, a sport. And yeah, it's really hard to define it as art, because it's really hard to define art itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
even cooking is an art. So yeah.
So hey,
you can define art, but we had this talk about what is cardistry.
Yeah.
And we're saying that it's more about the vision and the will.
Yeah. Basically, if if you think you're doing cardistry, you probably are doing cardistry. And if you think that what you're doing is art, then it's probably art for you. Thing is, I think to me, art is a kind of a personal thing. If you receive something as art, then it's art. It's art for you. And if you do something as art, then it's art for you too. So someone that has a different opinion, that sees cardistry and doesn't feel that it's art, it's not going to be art for him, but it's going to be art for the one who actually does it. You know,
right.
I think it's a very personal thing, and it's a matter of how do you say, vision. If your vision is that it's art, then it's art.
Yeah, it's
right.
the same thing with contemporary art. Like
Yeah.
the classical expert won't say that this kind of picture with only blank comment on dit tableau? Tableau, comment on dit tableau?
Tableau,
Painting.
Yeah.
painting, yeah.
Like
with only one red spot in the middle, they said it's not an art, but some people will say it's an art. It's really subjective, and it also depends on the culture you are in. Because some culture will see music as an art, and some culture won't say it's an art, but it's a way to communicate. Or so it's really blurry, and it depends on the culture and on people.
I think in the end, if you think you're doing art, you probably are doing art.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it kind of applies as well to cardistry. Like this is the kind of response you would get to the question of, is cardistry cardistry, and things like that.
Yeah.
Right. If you think you're doing cardistry, you're probably doing cardistry, and in fact, like at the end of the day, it's just a labeling problem.
Yeah.
And so, you know, is it useful to consider it as cardistry? Sure. Yeah. It's thinking of cardistry as cardistry is definitely more useful than thinking of cardistry as not cardistry, because then.
Yeah. I mean, same with squids. I mean, if you see someone doing a Charlie or Kryptonite, it's cardistry. I mean, not cards, but it's pretty obviously cardistry. It's cardistry move that you do with squids.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. One question that I'm actually interested in that I hadn't thought about, but how do you choose people like myself when you make a portrait video and a moveset? What kind of goes into that decision?
They have to be French and have glasses. They have to be smaller than me.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay, so we won't go up north. Yeah, basically, for now, what we've done is, for now, we only work with French people. So it's not something that we especially want to do. Like, we're not trying to only work with French people. But we work with them because we knew
Except
them.
for Henrik. That was Norwegian.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't do a portrait yet.
No. Oh, no, for the portrait? Okay.
Yeah, for the portrait. And yeah, so we knew you and we knew Antoine. So we already knew that you were good and you had some good moves that were personal and original. And I insist on personal because there are a lot of great cardists out there. But if we're gonna make a project with someone else than us, I mean, it has to be very personal. It has to be very, I don't know.
Unique.
Yeah, unique.
Characteristic.
It cannot be like the random good cardist 24. Even we're not looking for the very best cardist alive.
Right. Other people are doing that.
we're really looking for someone that has personality, because if we're gonna do a portrait and an EP, I mean, yeah, we want it to be very identitaire. Comment tu dis?
You wanted to have like a specific identity. It just kind of goes with being unique.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, you also have to be really good at cardistry, because obviously we want good moves.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not because we work with French dudes for now that we always stick with the French or European cardists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if we see an amazing new Egyptian cardist, we probably go there and do a project with him if he's okay with it, of course.
Whether he likes it or not.
No, but yeah. So yeah, like in the prices of the CCC, we propose to do a portrait video with the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if he doesn't want to do a portrait with us, we won't do it. We probably suggest another project that might be cool or something. But like,
cool.
And also, yeah, one other thing is we want to have fun when we do stuff in general. Yeah, it's our job, and it's always better to do your job when it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we want to work with people that we know we can work with in a, I don't know, a cool environment, like cool people in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I guess that links with the fundamental idea of a portrait, which is getting kind of the insight in life of a cardist and instead of how they think. And those things are really only interesting if they're all different, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because a lot of people can say the same things about cardistry and how they approach it. But once you've heard it once,
you've seen how we did it with your portrait, and it was the same thing with Antoine at first. The idea was, it's always very general, what you want to say about cardistry, and then you realize that you can be a lot more personal and a lot more specific to your own experience and stuff like that. Yeah, that's really what we're going for with those portraits. We want some very personal insights, not just general cardistry insight, but something that relates to the cardist's experience and
right. Yeah, and I mean, it kind of lines up with what I'm trying to do with these streams, in terms of getting an idea of what cardists think and feel, and how do they approach problems, how do they, what is their creative process, which is something I talk about here, and things like that, because I think it's like genuinely useful for people to understand how the people approach things, right? And
actually,
yeah,
the portrait video wasn't this. It was a more traditional kind of interview with what's your name, what's your age, how long have you been practicing, what music do you listen to, what's your favorite cardist, what, blah blah, what's your favorite video. But we didn't thought it was, even though if we did it on video with a great photography and stuff, and it didn't fit our brand, so we came up with with the first portrait with Antoine, and it worked out pretty well. So we keep this kind of format where the artists say, "Hello, I'm a cardist," and finish with the same sentence. That's kind of a running thing that we go through the portrait. But for the rest of it, all the insight and stuff, it's really specific to every artist. And yeah, and when we do this, maybe you can have a testimonial about it, but we really are open to what the artist has to say, and we don't really orientate or have suggestions about things that you should talk about. When, let's say, when we work with you, you send us your first script.
Yep.
and we will say, oh, maybe remove these parts and maybe focus on this. Really interesting. So you had.
Yeah, we kind of watch it. We kind of read the first scripts as a spectators, and there was some stuff that were really interesting and some stuff that were a bit too general.
Mm.
So yeah, we thought, yeah, this is super interesting. You have to.
Yeah. What's your feedback on this experience?
Yeah, I mean, so I remember working on the scripts and stuff, and it was kind of like an interesting introspective experience to try to talk about myself in cardistry in that kind of way. So it was a good exercise, I think. And I remember one of the things that you cut actually is that at first I wanted to mention something about how like as a cardist I go into phases where I'm like, I create a bunch of stuff and then I work on it and then I make a video and then go over, and those are pretty mutually exclusive and they don't overlap that much. And Dimitri said something like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's true, and in fact it probably is true, but it's also true for a lot of people, and that's just like how people work. So and yeah, obviously in retrospect that makes a lot of sense, but yeah, no, and I don't know, it's also what you found interesting was also interesting, because things that are obvious to me were like actually not that obvious as I thought. And so those also interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting process, and I actually feel like it might be an interesting exercise for just people in general to take a step back and think about what is it that they do with cardistry that is maybe particular to them, and see if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and kind of try to use that as a way to evolve as cardists.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, also one person has been asking a lot. I'm quoting here because I don't actually know what they're talking about. What is the story behind the name of the move Spanuth?
Oh shit, Spanuth. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done that.
That's the first move I asked him to show me.
Yeah, it's one move in opera. I don't do it anymore, so I can't really do it well. It's smooth. I can't remember. Oh yeah, this.
Right.
I missed the part. Anyway.
Right. It's an opera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sexy time.
Oh yeah. Sexy time. I don't remember. Sorry. I think
it's a word game between peanut and spin.
Yeah, basically. But I think for some reason I was obsessed with peanuts at one point. So, yeah. There's not a huge story behind it. So.
There you go. Well, now they know. They've asked the question like 3 times, so maybe they're looking for revelation. This was Evan Tseng. I think it was the same person every time, but I'm not entirely sure actually. So yeah. Anyways, let's see. I lost track of. One question, which is nice and grim. What do you think? In terms of like the future of cardistry, usually, actually, maybe let's start with this. What do you think the future of cardistry looks like? What do you think it's going to be? And as Cardistry Touch, how do you think you'll affect that and kind of maybe steer it in one way or another?
I think we can talk about Cardistry Touch, but no, okay. we don't have any idea really, but it's really hard to say.
Right.
We have some.
I don't know the future of cardistry. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of more people doing it since it's really evolving pretty fast right now.
The future of cardistry, should we determine like in a year, in 10 years, in a century? Because like.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, already thinking on a year's timescale is kind of crazy, because you think about last Cardistry-Con is closing in on almost a year ago, and a lot of things have happened since then. And if you especially think about the difference between Cardistry-Con in Brooklyn and in Berlin, tons of stuff happened there.
Yeah.
So even starting from there is actually kind of difficult, surprisingly. And I don't know, I think this is actually kind of an interesting topic, which I've been thinking about, but there's usually the question of, what do you think having more people in the cardistry community is a good thing? Like, because can you see downsides or only upsides, or I don't know.
I don't think it's either a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing. I mean, it's
it's probably a good thing for when you have like one people thinking of an idea, there is like potentials of results. But when you have thousands of people thinking of the same idea, it might result in way more results. So I think to have more people, there will be a lot of bad cardists that come, but there will be a lot more good cardists too.
Right.
So it will be good for the community to have those guys to inspire others and expand the community too, I think. So I wouldn't say it's a bad idea.
I think it's definitely a good idea for cardistry.
Good thing.
The ones that don't think it's a good idea is on a it's a good thing is it's more of a personal level. Like I don't think it's a good thing because it won't be unique anymore and I won't be that special. I think that's pretty much downside it can have.
Yeah, but for people, not for the community.
Yeah. But for the community and for cardistry itself, I think it's definitely better if there's way more people doing it.
Okay.
Right.
What I can say is that for a very pragmatic view of the thing, if we have more cardists, probably more customers that will buy product and watch the video and stuff like that. But this money will help make great projects, like great videos, maybe documentaries. I don't know, my shuffles, for example, stuff like that. So
yeah,
so it's a good thing.
Right.
The fact that there are now brands like us, but other brands like Richoso, Fontaine, stuff like that, Deals Grip, and there's more and more cardistry brands. Yeah, I think that says a lot about the state of cardistry and that it's now like starting to be something like official, cardistry.
Yeah.
Next step is cardistry in the dictionary, right? And
it's going pro.
Yeah, it's growing a lot, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting that's going to happen with the growth of cardistry is looking at things like Cardistry-Con, because it's one experience to be like in Brooklyn where there's 50 people or so, 52 people. It should have been 51 really, but yeah.
Narrow each other.
But yeah, and so that's a very different experience than
this useless annoying guy powering each other.
But yeah, so that's a pretty different experience than Cardistry-Con, like in Berlin, where there's 100 people, and this time in LA it's going to be 200 people.
Yeah.
And so all of those things are different experiences. What?
It's exponential.
Yeah, no, it's looking kind of suspicious because exponentials grow pretty fast. But yeah, and I don't know. I think there's some ups and downs to that. More people.
But definitely for the con, yeah, it's gonna be completely different. Like maybe in a few years, if there's like 1,000 people at Cardistry-Con, it's gonna be nothing like Brooklyn. It's gonna be,
right.
It's gonna be cool for some stuff, but there won't be that much proximity. Is that a word in English?
Yeah.
Between people, and it's like in Brooklyn, I almost got to talk with everyone that was there. Not a lot, but yeah, in Berlin, it was impossible already to really.
Yeah, we had to stick with pretty much the people that were in the Cardistry house, and some people that came to us, but you don't really have the time to meet people that doesn't come to you because you already have. Like you have like only 3 days to talk and to know your favorite cardist and the other cool guys and stuff like that. It's impossible to make a connection with hundreds of people. In 3 days, even in a year, you can do that. So in 3 days.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, also the other things that when you get to Cardistry-Con, you want to meet up with all of your cardistry friends from all over the world, and so that makes it even more difficult to try to talk to everyone. And so I think it'll be interesting to look at how this Cardistry-Con is going to be, and I think it'll be informative to how future Cardistry-Cons are going to be. Maybe 200 is the right number. Maybe they want to go for more, and if it's for more, like, you need to really start thinking about the logistics of the whole thing. Because
to be honest, I think that if we can do bigger, we should do bigger for Cardistry.
Okay.
For Cardistry-Con, right?
Yeah.
Maybe add other events.
Yeah.
Smaller events. Because if the community is growing, there's no reason that there are only one event for a year. For this,
and they can be more located events.
Like so that's the thing.
American convention, stuff like that. And if you're really into it, you will go to every single one of them. You don't have to, you know.
You have to be really rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean and that's also like an interesting component, is that now there is more and more people from all around the world that are doing cardistry, and I think one of the biggest examples is South America has been booming in the area, and they have their own community. I believe they had their own Cardistry-Con, though. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, in Mexico, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Andrew and Sean went. Frankie.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, and also China had their own Cardistry-Con, and it's cool because you have all these different communities that are growing at the same time, and I feel like there's something like the facts. It's like in your book, Hold My Brain While I Shuffle. You mentioned something about isolations being like a good thing because you can get stuck in like the community's mindset. But if you have different communities that are building their own thing, then they might spin out and have different themes, and default in one community is going to be different than default in another community, and that's going to be interesting to look at.
Well, a good parallel that we can make is I was talking about this with my brother about juggling, and he told me he can pretty much say if a juggler is from Europe or if he's from America.
By seeing is
basically there are some very different styles of juggling like juggling the same object. I mean, in Europe and in America. So I think that's because there are some juggling schools that try to teach not some specific moves, but specific mindset about juggling, and that makes a completely different style. And I think that's pretty interesting. Like if you see a flourish video and you're like, it's probably Mexican.
That's racist, man.
Sorry.
No, but I think it's already the case in some way. Like I can really differentiate Vietnamese style than Scandinavian, like Danish style.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, and I think as a community, if any problems do arise, we are the community, so we can figure out how to best deal with it, right? And so, yeah. Anyways, here's an interesting question that, again, completely just circumvents what we were just talking about. What is the move that you're most proud of creating? Question for both of you.
Proud, I'll say Riffle Fan for me, because it's
more than a classic.
Yeah, now it's considered as a classic. So much of a classic that people just don't know that it's my move, and I mean, no, that's a good thing actually. Like it's proof that it just became a classic, and I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah, someone actually just asked in chat a while ago if you really created the riffle fan. I mean, honestly.
Really? Yeah.
It was published like in silent transition. 6 years, 5 years?
2011.
5 years, 6 years, yeah.
But that also brings the question, is any move really created? Because, I mean, it's always a variation of something. My move, Riffle Fan, was based on a move by Nebelfast. And his move was almost based on the move by Scott from Scott and Sean. I don't know, old school guys. He did like an Anaconda fan, something like this.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, and this move was based on the pressure fan. So pretty much, it's always a variation of something. But yeah,
right.
I think I can say that I created the riff fan.
Yeah, what about you, Lad?
I'm thinking. I think I would say looper, because a good yeah, this move, for those who doesn't know, this is looper.
It loops.
And we did some cardistry show for laymen with Dimitri, and shows. We have a whole story. We present cardistry in a way that we go from to Charlier cut to the spring and stuff like that. We almost do only classical moves, like the spring, under pressure, giant fan, some stunts,
like
layman moves, some complex two-handed cut and stuff like so. And this is a good judgment to see if a cut or move is good, because you see the reaction from a perspective that someone that doesn't know anything about cardistry. And you know that when you do under pressure and everybody goes like, "Wow," you know that it's a cool move. And when you do two-handed cuts, they don't really understand it, because they see us as another two-handed cut. Let's say if I do Petra and then I don't know, another 200 cut like Jackson 5 or Mockingbird, they will appreciate it, but in their vision, they'll see that all as 200 cuts. It's pretty much the same. But when I do looper, I see that they can refer to something that they, I don't know, understand, and that great. So I think that's one of the only moves that I can do to laymen that they can react almost as much as a spring or something like that.
Right. And I think part of that is because laymen obviously don't have experience by definition with cardistry. And a lot of what we find interesting in two-handed cuts are the details, and we don't really realize that. But it's really the details of what exactly the motion of the packet is, right? And it's not something that a layman can necessarily understand or identify. Now, the thing with looper is that it has enough of like a distinct shape that it does look different. It's not. It's very easy to understand what is going on and what is meant to happen. Whereas with something like I don't know. I mean,
and it's satisfying to watch because of that.
Yeah. It's easy to wrap your head around it. Something like Highway, and I actually have had pretty decent reactions from laymen for Highway, but there's a lot of details that are happening here.
Complex one.
Can you repeat from the beginning? I wasn't listening.
But yeah, and so there's a lot of complex stuff that's happening, and it's hard to understand what is even supposed to happen and if I'm accomplishing it. Right? There's the expectations. There are. It's not that they're not met, but they're not. It's not something that laymen can necessarily grasp.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and kind of the flip side to the question of which question are you most proud of creating? What move that isn't yours do you like the best? And it could be just because of how it looks, or just because of conceptually what it means to you.
For me, like, do you include classics in there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Spring, obviously. But no, I think one of the best modern classic is Friffle. Actually, no, Friffle with Waterfall. I think this combo, if you consider it as one move, is just, it's perfect for Cardist and for layman. Like doing this and just finishing it like that.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I think Friffle to Waterfall is probably my favorite move that I haven't created. But yeah, I think there are other like really perfect moves. If you think about two-handed cut, I think Squeeze is it's perfect.
Yeah.
It all the time. Yeah, do you have any?
In my interview, I said the violin cut by Illusionist Kent. I really love that move, and I think it's really not objective because I tried to learn this move so many times, so I'm kind of fascinated by this move. But that's, yeah. But now it's really hard to say because now you have flip phone, now you have drop box. Now you have, it's like pick your favorite song. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It depends on your mood. It depends on the period you're listening. I don't know, but yeah. Moment right now, my favorite cut to watch. I don't know.
Oh, you did like to buy a spinning sibyl.
Oh yeah.
And his in the woods.
In the woods video, there's a like I can't. Same thing. I really love it because I don't know how he does it. A thing like this, a sibyl where it goes like this. I don't know. It doesn't look like this. Yeah, I can do it, but it's really cool. Yeah, I'm not into sibyl variation stuff, but this is so cool.
Yeah, it's a really a different spin on the move.
Oh yeah, what you did there.
It was real subtle. Yeah. All right. Someone is asking what's
Add
on
a nice touch to the move.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, but, if I have to say, one of the things that most impressed me cardistry-wise is probably the isolation choreography by Zach. Yeah, for me it's game-changing.
Yeah,
and is the
Zwi's last move.
Oh yeah, Reeves by Zwi almost also.
What is it?
Reeves.
You know, like he does a two-handed spinny, two-handed cut, but you know, Zwi. And he kind of crosses his fingers when he does it.
Oh. Oh yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I'm so jealous of that move.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah, it is right. That's the last move. It's probably not one of my favorite move of all time. Yeah. Good old
Zwi.
Shout out to Zwi.
Real quick, someone asked what is on the whiteboard behind me. Well, it's pretty thrilling actually. It's a tree whose pairwise compatibility graph is the wheel 9. So there you have it, and I'm studying it for the sake of creating an algorithm that generates all non-isomorphic reduced trees. So there you have it.
Yeah, that's what
you asked.
We're having this conversation. That's exactly what I told him it was.
Right. No. Yeah. Absolutely. It's once you see it, it's pretty straightforward.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So I think we're getting low on things to talk about. Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to mention?
I don't know. Do you have anything to say?
If you want those cards, you can go on cardistry-touch.com.
Yep. Link below. I think. I hope.
Here somewhere. No, but yeah. Pre-orders is going pretty well, and yeah, if you like those cards, you.
Oh wait, because we have a lot of the same questions actually by email or on Instagram. Maybe we should answer them here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a perfect place.
So the pre-orders end the 7th of May, so it's going to be 1 full month of pre-order.
Okay.
One of the questions. Other thing is, how many are we going to print? That will depend on the pre-orders. Basically, we're going to take all your order and we're going to print accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But one thing you have to know is that the batch that we'll have after the pre-orders will be very, very limited. So
yeah, we're gonna order a bit more than
gonna sell during the pre-orders, but yeah, it will be very limited and the price will go up a little bit. So I really suggest that if you want the cards, that you make the choice quickly. Because it might not be available after if you're not.
We are only going to print them once.
Okay.
Okay. And there was another question.
Yeah, we can't send you deck for free just because you ask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, when are they going to ship? Because we had a few questions. Like I ordered my cards almost a week ago. When are they going to ship? And they're not here. That's because they're not printed yet. That's the principle of pre-orders. We're going to print them after the pre-orders, and then we'll ship them. That's going to take a little bit of time, so they will ship probably in June.
Yep. And I think it's probably important to note that that's not legally binding. It's a very strong probably.
Yeah.
Because the shipment is done by Art of Play, and you aren't Art of Play. So. Exactly. All right. Now that all of the obvious questions that everyone tuned into are answered, let me see if there's. Yes. Yep. That's about it. So yeah. Again, thanks so much for coming over and hanging out.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. And yeah, it's been good. It's been real.
Cool.
All right. And goodbye to everyone in chat. And
goodbye,
have a beautiful day.